Hello, welcome to chemistry class. Of course, he unposed right when I went there. This is Lavos, the subject of today's video. A overlooked-ish frame. There's reasons for that. We'll discuss a couple of those. But let's get into the builds. So Lavos, one of the reasons he's kind of overlooked in usage, one is he uses cooldowns instead of energy. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It does mean you can't make them quite as spammy as you can some other Warframes, but all in all, I don't think it hurts him too much. The other is, he's one of several frames that the game does not point out to you. He's not dropped from a quest, he doesn't drop from a boss. If you weren't here when his update came, which was actually the original Orphix event, and he was in a special shop, he's kind of hiding out in Father's store on Deimos. And a lot of people might not necessarily go actually look at that shop and even notice he's in there. A lot of people do get there for the Spore Laser kit gun. And Lavos not being generally hyped as a meta frame, which I'd say he's not going to be the subject of too many videos, but doesn't get a whole lot of traffic there. Also, not a lot of people are into the Deimos bounties. It's very hit and miss. It's not everyone's favorite place to farm. Anyways, into the builds.
Operator, did you hear that? It said... Cosmic background radiation is a riot!
That's Horus's contribution to the video today, as he always sneaks in. As usual, you know me, I shove my casting speed and everything. Those are all highly optional. I ran the build fine, I just threw them in there while I was doing it at the end. This just regenerates a little chip damage, always nice to have. Lavos is a very tanky boy, you can see his health and armor here. He's up almost into the 90% damage reduction range, which really means he has 14,000-ish health. Also, there's other things you can do with that. If you don't want to throw the blue in, you could technically even throw it in as an armor or health shard. The greens are important. They don't have to be Tau forged, but you do need 2 of them to get max out the corrosive armor cap. That's going to be very important for what we're doing here. There's another you could use if you have the greens. You can also use the ones that give you bonus toxin damage, or even the heal on toxin. That will all go very well with him because it will constantly be triggered by his 1. Into Lavos here. All right. So we've got no helmets on here. We are running 100% pure Lavos. Duration on Lavos does increase duration of his status with abilities or weapons. It's one of those weird Lavos quirks. Efficiency, we're not really dealing with that, so I'm not going to get too much into it. Mecha empowered. Every now and then your companion, which has to be a Kubro or a Predacite for this, will mark an enemy. That enemy will take bonus damage, but if you kill them, more importantly, all their status effects, including a little bit of damage to apply them, will go out to all enemies within 22.5 meters. We'll see that a bit more in the mission. We got strength. You want a fair amount of strength on Lavos for his abilities and his buff that we're going to talk about in 1 second here. Stretches some range. If you don't have the umbrals, feel free to use the regular ones. You can tell I'm not even using the full umbrals, I'm using this. The Archon mods are an important point of all this. This gives double effects on his heat up here. When he casts it, double procs. Also any other heat procs you might deal with his infuse gimmick. Speaking of his infuse gimmick, when he casts an ability, it will infuse another element. You can choose to add a second element type to it, which means you can slap them with toxin whips, or you can slap them with toxin whips that also put heat procs. So you can get a lot of utility out of this with his abilities. It's not the main focus of the build, that's more done on my other one that's not shown here. But it's quite there. Archon continuity. Anything that applies toxin will also apply corrosive. You're going to be throwing this thing out a lot, and that's a free corrosive proc before you infuse anything out there. You can also infuse toxin onto any of these, and they will also apply corrosive procs. Can be very helpful. Adaptations, more survivability. He's tanky, but we can beef him up even further. Arcane Grace, this is your flex. You can put Molt Augment in here if you want a little bit more ability damage or a stronger buff. You can put Arcane Guardian in here if you just want to go hard on the DR instead of the and you think you can handle the healing otherwise. You can do other melee stuff. Avenger, this is a weapons build, so bonus critical. And that's a flat critical chance, which means if your crit's 0, this makes it 45. As opposed to some other methods. We are using mostly status weapons on this build, so this is basically turning us into a hybrid build all by itself to a degree. Slip Bite's Nogman for his 1 makes it go way farther, significantly farther, and if you hit 4 enemies, it will reduce his ability cooldowns. Very important to keep him moving. Valence Formation. This is his hot new one. Upon ability cast, applies the ability element as 200% elemental damage to weapons. It's a little confusing. So you can choose elements to put in your weapons. Like this is toxic, this is cold, this is electric, this is heat. He has a mechanic where you hold his powers, you'll infuse the element instead, including combos. So if you hold in 1 and 2, you infuse viral. When you cast your ability, you will get a 200% viral elemental damage boost. Pretty obvious benefits there. As far as I can tell, it doesn't scale from what I've seen, which is a little bit of a shame, but hey. Actually, I should go check that on the screen.
Shadow up.
Yeah, it doesn't actually show it. It's weird like that. Straight up with you, you're going to mostly use this either with viral or corrosive infusions. There's limited use cases to do it with anything else. If you were doing the stuff with the green shards or the purple shards, you might want to do it with electric or toxin, but by and large, it's going to be viral corrosive. Don't reinvent the wheel there. Our companion over here, which has the rest of the mech mods, he probably actually needs to be redone a little bit. I haven't updated his build at all. He really should have a synth deconstruct on him, for instance. Which instead, I could probably put there. Yeah, that one for sure. A lot of the bond mods won't actually help Lavos though, because they're related to energy and casting. Cedo, it's not a big part of my build, but here's a Cedo build. Take it or leave it. Don't get all uppity in the comments about what you consider non-optimum there. Catabolist, this is a problem solver to 1.0. This may look weird at AF. It is a pure corrosive with a massive status chance. Remember, Lavos extends the status durations too. Basically, you tap the trigger with this thing and its armor is gone. Especially if you just done an ability, which we're going to be doing all the time. We've got secondary encumber on here, which could honestly be ranked up a little higher. That's actually not even the one I wanted. It's actually, there's supposed to be a different mod on there anyways. But anyways, random status effects, it'll condition overload them essentially for us. It should have the one that I don't apparently have. Right. There's a completely different arcane that deals status damage when you inflict a status, and that's what we want. Well researched. I'll go look up in a second what that is. I honestly blanked on that one, so. Yeah, we'll come back to it. It works for what we need it to do, which is the armor strip, if we really want to. Into this, I considered using the Vertilac. The Vertilac is a snake whip, which would have been very thematic. Problem with the Vertilac is it doesn't have status. Particularly good status. You can see over here, that's what I was trying out with that. It works. It doesn't quite completely fit into the gimmick, though. So you can use this one some of the time. When the crits go off, you'll get more damage out of it. But for the purposes of our semi-gimmick build, we're using what is the highest status weapon, as far as I'm aware, in the game, which is the Seti Lacera. If you don't have a Seti Lacera, it does come from the Halloween event, typically nowadays. You can substitute. You can find numerous high status melees. It's not super critical. As you can see, though, we've got 124%. We've mapped this out with what may seem like an odd combination: gas, radiation, electricity. That's because viral and corrosive. Viral is going to come from our main buff, typically. Corrosive is going to come from melee exposure. Basically, we can cast an infused ability. We'll give ourselves viral, corrosive, and then this thing will do gas, radiation, and electricity. You can swap those elements around if you want. You can go magnetic toxin for the corpus, for instance, but this kind of more efficiently works. If Lavos wants to kill the corpus, just infuse toxin. And they'll go down like nothing. Base ones here, nothing too hard to explain, honestly. Generic Tennokai, Condition Overload's the big one. Melee Prowess is the one you probably wouldn't see on a lot of builds, but its boosting our status chance is super high. Nairmon, we're using melee. You use Nairmon, but you're not going to use Zeneric on Lavos because he has no energy. You can make an argument for Madurai or Yunaru. You could make an argument for Vazarin if you want to use that to heal him, but such as it is. Let's go do a thing. I'll pop over onto solo. We'll trigger some Steel Path. And we will pop into Lua. Into the Circulus. Yeah, sure, we'll do the fissure, why not? What we open? We'll open this one. See, as I said, you can get some limited uses. You can, if you want to rely on manually doing your corrosive, you can use melee influence to spread the status effects. I found that I tried that and found it got a little too juggly though. So we got it. So right off the bat, we got viral. We still got a bunch of corrosive. See, their armor actually went away.
Defeat the corrupted and use their reactant to open a relic. You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic. The Orican
and the alarm
is
started.
attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support.
So there's some viral, there's some corrosive. Here's our super armor strip. You can just see their armor delete the second it touches them. That's secondary. Just some more power up there. We've got some more virals. Spreading partial or complete armor strips. Fissure's actually really annoying because they're partially immune during some of it. We can pop over here. This corrodes and heats. Again, this guy's kind of annoying. We'll just delete his armor. Some more armor. Viral applied. Got a bit of an iffy line of sight there. Overguard's going to be the biggest problem here because sure what triggered that melee finisher, but so these guys got his armor up.
Has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Go over here. We dumped some viral on. There's one where we want the toxin. We have to go over here and get our capsule. One of these up to reduce cooldowns.
Tenno, if you have a necromech, this would be an excellent place to deploy.
This isn't the necromech video, Lotus. Oh, we missed that. Oh, I didn't infuse that one. That's my bad. Just chop through all these guys.
Sentient scouts. If they detect you, fighters will soon attack. The sentient is onto you. Look out for troopers.
See some armor disappears there. We got our sentients coming in. We're gonna inflict some viral. We're gonna inflict some corrosive. Inflict more viral with this. Sentients down.
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search. But if you need to leave, extraction is ready.
The mecha pulse didn't quite work. Sort of worked. You can see some of them lost their armor. Should have transferred all of those over though. Prime barrel. Got some Thrax coming in. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. Depends how they're set. If they cluster or not for us, which would be nice.
The void has summoned a new presence, and it craves our life support. Destroy these manifestations.
He should just be dead. Save the overguard. She's gotta go away in a second. Don't know what did that. Something going on in that room that I do not appreciate. My abilities are also turned off. Oh, violence. Gotta deal with you because you are a serious problem. Where'd he go? I can't see the enemy, that's the biggest thing here. Should already be dead. Alright. Some interesting stuff with that Thrax, because he went to ghost mode, then came back to regular mode. I swear the game bugs out specifically when I try and record videos. Anyways, life support went to 0, but we won. I could have done that cleaner. The Thrax could have also not bugged and restored itself to health from being dead, but hey, we're taking what we can get. Anyways, that's Lavos. Very simple there. Using the Cedo could have arguably primed stuff a little better too, but we're showing off the melee components more so. Not too much I have to say about Lavos. I think he's in a pretty good spot. I think he, as I said, and I'll show off here, he goes, it's a little obscure to go into the Necrolisk. Because this is a problem that's starting to crop up when D looks at the usage stats and decides they want to change a frame because it's not being used enough or it's being used too much. There's always there's a visibility component to that kind of goes underlooked, because you have to go to this guy over here, go into browse wares.
What can I do for you?
Then you know there's Lavos here. If you don't happen to come over here after you do the Deimos quest to actually look and see there's even a story, you might miss all this stuff. Some folks will tell you to go here, of course, but not a lot. This isn't too well. This one is the main one that people will tell you to go here for. A few people might tell you the Cedo. It's very easy to actually overlook him, along with some of these mods that nobody actually knows about.
Take your time. Be seeing you again.
Anyways, that's Lavos. We'll see you back next week for what I believe will be Banshee or Excalibur. And keep an eye on the channel. You can do the like and subscribe if you want to see more. You can follow over on Twitch. You can see the live streams. Live streams, we do a lot of like wheel spins and go into Steel Path missions, things like that. Almost like Deep Archimedia, but without quite the ridiculous level. And we will see you then. You can check out the other Let's Plays on the channel as well, and have a good weekend.